Hello, and thank you for joining us once again back here at the Magic of the Mouse podcast for the week of January 27th, 2020. On this week's show, Bill Jr. has all the latest Disney news, including the rise of Skywalker becoming Disney's $7th billion-dollar movie from 2019, as well as Disney is dropping the Fox name from studio branding. And this week, we will continue our conversation with Jeff Bates from the Dole Whip Dad YouTube channel and the Breaking Bates podcast, so stay tuned.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching our station at the entrance to Main Street, USA. Gateway to the 7 theme lands of the Magic Kingdom.
Hi gang, it's me Tinkerbell, and I'm back from Neverland. I'm ready to listen to my favorite Disney podcast, and I would love you to join me. So grab your mouse ears and meet me down at the end of Main Street, under Cinderella's castle, for the Magic of the Mouse podcast, with your hosts Bill Guerrero and Bill Guerrero Jr. See you there.
Hello and welcome back to the Magic of the Mouse podcast. Joining me again on this week's show is my son and co-host, Bill Guerrero Jr.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Remember, this is the way.
And also joining us again this week, Tom Whitland.
How's everybody doing?
And joining us this week is Kurt Hackney.
Hey, everybody. Always a pleasure to be here.
To start off our show this week, Bill's got the latest Disney news for us.
First thing I wanted to go over this week, Dad, is Star Wars Rise of Skywalker has become Disney's $7th billion-dollar movie of 2019, adding to the already record-smashing year that Walt Disney Studio accomplished. The studio announced that it broke the billion-dollar mark on Tuesday, the 14th of January. No shocker here on my side, especially seeing and hearing the reviews when the movie first came out. Still haven't seen it yet, but with my new home theater, I think I'll just have to wait until it's released on digital. Now, when the film initially released, it opened bringing in $177 million domestic, which was third highest grossing for an opening weekend in 2019. But it was considerably less than the previous 2 installments, being The Force Awakens in 2015 and The Last Jedi in 2017. I think that's due to the fact that fans who were already uneasy about the new trilogy didn't want to see an ending to the story that would ruin the franchise. And after they heard the movie was quite possibly the best out of the 3 in the new trilogy, they came around. I definitely saw this coming, and to have $7 billion movies in 1 year for one studio, it's pretty incredible. Next thing on my list is the Walt Disney Company will be dropping the Fox brand from the 21st Century Fox assets. It's been acquired last March. The 20th Century Fox Film Studio will simply become 20th Century Studios, and Fox Searchlight Pictures will become Searchlight Pictures. On the TV side, no final decision has been made about adjusting the names of its production companies, being 20th Century Fox Television and Fox 21 Television Studios. Discussions about a possible name change are underway. Disney has already started the process by changing the email addresses of Searchlight staffers, with the Fox.com address being replaced by SearchlightPictures.com. On the poster for Searchlight's next film, Downhill, the credit begins with Searchlight Pictures Presents. Now, this is a big change to the name of an even bigger brand. I'll be watching closely to see if they decide to do any changes to the television division. All right, the last thing I had to talk about before I turn it back to you, Dad, is 10,000 Disney superfans applied for a job to be on the Disney Parks Moms panel. It's a nonprofit position, and only 14 were selected. 3 out of 14 happen to be dads, which I thought was kind of funny to be on the Parks Moms panel. But basically, what they're there for is to help interested parkgoers plan their Disney vacation. The selection panel convened on the 10th floor of the Riviera Resort to welcome 14 newest employees of the Disney Parks Moms panel. It's basically a website where people planning to go on a Disney cruise, go to a park or a DVC location in the United States can ask questions to get responses from these new, now called experts. It's not just these 14. They're going to have some help answering their emails from 28 other members returning from previous years. That's all I had for this show, Dad.
Yeah, what's with the wise comment with the guys being on the Disney Moms panel? I applied.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I applied for it. A friend of mine told me about it, and I sent it in. I filled out the application, but I guess I didn't make the cut. I never heard anything back.
I think I might have did it too, Bill. If I'm not mistaken, I think I remember seeing something on Facebook.
Yeah, I thought it would be cool. If you get chosen for it, like Bill said, you go down to Disney for a week with your family, and Disney picks up the tab. That's pretty much the only pay that you get from it. And then you get the experience and interacting with Disney fans throughout the year. And basically what they have when you go down there for the week is, learning how to answer the questions, all the facts about Disney, and how they want you to format your answers back to whoever questions you, from the fans.
How does that actually work? Is it just for so long, or is it just they're on call all the time, emails, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure like if they have certain days that, the panelists have to answer, or if they have certain sections. Maybe they have an expertise on Disney cruises that they've been on a bunch. Pretty sure it lasts for a year because every year they send out a thing again that, for new applicants. So I know it's a minimum of a year. Then it just goes from there. I don't know if you can reapply or not if you want to, but it's a pretty cool thing. And if you have any questions that you're going to be going to Disney and you're not sure and you haven't been a bunch of times, that's the place to get your questions answers, not on any other boards or anything like that. Go right to the Disney Mom's website and they'll answer any question that you have about Disney World, Disneyland, or anything that you can think of. Okay, this week we're going to continue our conversation with Dole Whip Dad, Jeff Bates, from the YouTube channel Dole Whip Dad. And welcome back again, Jeff.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, this week here, we got a little off track at the end of our last podcast there. Five guys talking Disney, that can get ugly.
And I'll do my part to do that again on this episode.
I want to get into a couple of your other live shows that we didn't talk about last week. The other one was the new one you started. I guess it's, about a month old now? Disney Pins Live. Did you do one Friday night?
I guess we started in January. So, yeah, what do we have to? I don't know what day it is. But, yeah, we started it for January. So it was a new thing for 2020. And, yeah, my co-host, Kelly from the Mickey Bunch, and I do it every Friday night. It's a lot of fun. We talk about Disney pins. We talk about the new release pins. We talk about events. Our first episode, she had just done a Disney pin event in Animal Kingdom. Actually, I think it was for the New Year's Eve party, but regardless. And so we just talk about what we collect and how we collect it and different online communities. And we nerd out. It's pretty Disney pin nerdy, and I love it.
What's the feedback that you've got so far from people that have come into the chat or into the channel? Have you got any emails to the feedback on the Disney Pins Live?
Amazingly good. Yeah. It's funny, there's so many good YouTube channels that are based around or certainly are heavy into Disney pins, but there's not, at least not that we've found, any Disney pin specific shows. And so there's a lot on Instagram. There's a lot everywhere. So I don't really know if we just haven't found them or we just lucked into it, but we've gotten great feedback. People love talking about Disney pins, and I kind of feel like I'm talking about myself, but the tweet and the text and the emails that we've gotten, I know Kelly's got them too, have been, oh my gosh, we love it. Please don't stop. And it's nice. You can probably tell I'm not a guy that is hurting for self-esteem points, but it's still nice to hear, oh my gosh, I like this show and I'll be back. I've been having to say no to people who want to come on the show because, it's early January. I've only had 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever it is, but it's going to be good. I've told Kelly, and I'll tell you, I really believe it'll be big. I think it's going to grow big. People are excited. Talk pins with other pin people, right? It's just like I shared last week with you a little. I'm a big sport fan, and I moved away from all my friends in Southern California out to Texas. And so this thing that is YouTube and podcasting and all the stuff, it's a way for us to find like-minded lunatics who like to collect Disney pins.
The one thing I liked about it is your co-host, Kelly, her knowledge of the Disney pins. And I've learned a couple things already about the knockoffs and stuff like that, what to look for. Yeah. And I'm not a big pin collector. I know my son can attest to this. We got into it a little bit when we were down there a couple different times. And I got one book that's pretty filled, but I knew you were talking about it last week. You have like certain rides you like to collect the pins or certain things. Yeah. I like to collect the DVC pins. That's my bigger ones. And then I've also... the ones that I've seen anyway, any of the ones that were related to police or fire, I have some of those because I don't know if Tom's a paid fireman, and like I said before, I'm a retired police officer.
Love it.
We're kind of into those things, but I don't have a big collection, but I enjoyed watching it, and the knowledge is what got me. She's very knowledgeable.
Kelly knows her stuff, and her daughter Taylor knows her stuff, and we had her on one of the shows recently. We'll have her back. It's really a rabbit hole that can really cost you all of your money and all of your time. But it's fun. I'll be honest with you, and I've said this before, and it sounds a little nerdy. I think they're little pieces of art. I mean, some of them are ugly. I don't want those ones. But some of them, I look at them like I must own that. And please don't be rare because I want to take it home. They're neat little... Yeah, and you mentioned the DVC thing. I love collecting a pin or pins from where I stayed or an event. I was out there for Galaxy's Edge opening I mentioned. I had to get a pin for that because it's...
Exactly.
Well, I don't know why I had to, but I love it. It's a lot of fun.
You're like me. When I go, I'm going to be going this weekend, and the Festival of the Arts has started, and I'll be getting one for that, or each year when I go to the Food and Wine. I like those.
I talked a little bit about the last episode. It's something I can do with my kiddos. Like, my daughters all collect Disney pins, and I'm a baseball card collector. You know what? My daughters are not. So this is something we can do together. So it's pretty awesome.
Well, I believe I sent you the message at one time. I forget what show you were doing. I used to have a baseball card store here in Jersey years ago.
Yes. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, but I remember now. Yes. See, we're going to need to do a whole show on that. Right?
Yeah, I used to have the store, and I used to go up and down the East Coast doing card shows. And I have a stack of, because back then it was big, like in the early 80s. A lot of the players, they always had players there signing autographs. I have so many autographs from Hall of Famers, people that passed away. And I don't know what happened to it. We went to Cooperstown. I know we're getting a little off track here, but that happens. I took my son, I don't know how old he was. He was old enough to stand and look over a fold-up table. I remember that's how old he was. We went to Cooperstown to see Mike Schmidt and Richie Ashburn get inducted because we're diehard Phillies fans.
No. So are you ready to want something that I own? I have, and maybe you own it. You were there for their speeches, question mark? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, we were there for the induction week.
So I have the program from that year autographed by Ashburn and Schmidt.
That's cool.
I won that in a contest.
That's awesome.
I got to meet Schmidt.
That was always my idol growing up as far as baseball was Mike Schmidt. We had a picture of my son in downtown Cooperstown, and they had old-time players there signing autographs, and Don Larson was there signing, who just passed away a couple months ago. And he autographed a picture for my son, and my son standing at the fold-up table, you know, what was the old cartoon Kilroy where his nose was on the table and the hands were on the table and you only saw from the nose up? That was my son looking as Don Larson was signing the picture for him.
When you got talking about the pins, I'm kind of like a collector. I don't trade because most of them have like a meaning for me. I have a bunch of firefighter pins, stuff like that. But the one thing that I have that I got a long time ago and I haven't seen in so long, if you've seen the firefighter bending down, shaking Mickey's hand, it's an actual picture, but they have a pin of it. And there's also, I have one that was right after 9/11. It's a gentleman in fatigues shaking his hand. So I haven't seen that like forever.
So the firefighter picture was shaking little Mickey's hand. I've got that framed with a stamp from I don't know where. It just came to me. I don't even know how I got it. And my buddy Kelly from Myers in the Mouth, great channel, check them out. He's got a really neat print of that. I think it's behind him when he live streams in those videos and such. So I love that picture. I know exactly the picture you're talking about. That's very cool.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't trade. Like I've seen some of the people that have them, like you could trade with the people that work there, and some of them are just like, it's not really anything that I'd be interested in trading. Like I said, because I know there's a bunch of them. Like people are like, oh, do you want to trade them? I'm like, no, I can't trade some of these.
Yeah, so the magic to that is you got to have a bunch of traders that you don't want. Like any pin that I bring with me, I don't necessarily want it to come home with me.
Yeah,
the stuff that I love.
I mean, if I'm going to trade them, I'm going to buy a bunch of junk ones and just put them on and trade them off and get the good ones. So
yeah, the reason I wouldn't do it is because I have no idea of any of the values.
For me, well, but that's the thing. If you only bring to trade the ones that you don't care about, I mean, value is what somebody will pay for it, right? I don't care what some book says. If I want it, I want it, and if if it's something I love, it's not coming with me. It's staying on the wall in my house or wherever you keep them. But the traders, and it's fun to give them to kids too. Like we can go down this rabbit hole, but I just love it. And I love it. It's a chance to interact with the cast members. I mean, they're actually getting paid to talk to you about pins. That sign me up. It's like perfect. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Main reason I won't do it, I'd be the 57-year-old goof that would get taken to the cleaners by a 10-year-old.
But then you made that 10-year-old kid's day, so that's not so bad.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I want to move in, Jeff, your other show that you have with your better half on Saturdays, Beauty and the Beast. I know you guys tease back and forth each week who's Beauty and who's the Beast.
Oh, we know. Come on.
Yeah, we all know, but I like how your wife has a little fun with it.
I've got a kind of embarrassing, funny, awesome story. We were at the Disney store this past Friday after work. We went to the Disney store, and we're there a lot, Fort Worth, Hewlin store. And so the cast members mostly know us. And the sweet lady behind the counter is talking to me while my wife's shopping. And she says, oh, I wanted your wife to see that. I'm glad she's looking at that. I'm all, what is it? It was the rose from the Beauty and the Beast show. And she said, yeah, when that came in, I thought of you. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet of you. And then after a couple minutes, I said, so why did that make you think of us? And she said, well, your show, Beauty and the Beast. And I'm like, wow, that's freaking awesome. I had no idea what you were talking about. And I was the beauty one, right? And then she laughed. And anyway, so it's pretty cool. The name kind of was easy, but just to hang out with my wife and talk about it, because she loves it. But like we talked about with the kids, she has different things that she loves about it. And she's easier on the eyes than I am. And it's fun to do together. It's a great way and it gets me out of bed on Saturday. So I love it. I love that she loves it, to be honest.
I've only watched like once or twice. I don't know why I always forget that it's on Saturday morning, but basically the premise of that show is that just you and your wife get to talk about anything Disney that pops into your head that week.
Yeah, we talk on Friday night about topics, but the truth is, it's, what did we buy that week? What's going on in the park? It's totally informal. We only have topics just to make her feel more comfortable, to be honest, but we talk about what pops in our head. And we interact with the people in chat. And, I'll be honest with you, it's another time that I don't get. So if you're a Saturday morning kind of consumer of YouTube, you weren't going to find my channel, right? So to be able to do it then, because my shows are all late night, felt right to do that. And again, it gets you out of bed. But yeah, the format is just what's on our mind at Disney. We've got another trip, so we're going to talk about that. Or, hey, we're going to the new festival. Or you see that this happened at the parks. I mean, you guys know, I'm preaching to the choir. It's not hard to have a topic to talk about for an hour when you're talking about something you both love. And it's fun. I love it. I love that she loves it. The first couple of weeks I'd say, okay, so you don't hate it, right? And, no, I like it. So it's good stuff.
I got a good laugh last week when I was in there watching it. Typical grandparents. The babies aren't even born yet and you're already spoiled.
Oh my gosh. I've got no shot. Right? That's the thing. We were talking last time about how am I supposed to go on a cruise when I'm buying baby shoes for a kid who's not even a baby yet? What the heck?
Now,
pretty good.
The YouTube, is that like Beauty and the Beast? Like, how do you find it?
So the Beauty and Beast show is a live show on Saturday morning, but the replays are always there. And I'm actually going to start repurposing them as podcasts too. But yeah, you just go to my channel, Dole Whip Dad. I like that you asked this question. Thank you. Dole Whip Dad on YouTube. And then you want to watch it live Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central. And I don't know if I'm really answering your question.
No, that was because I was just on YouTube and it was just coming up like the live movie and all that. So
gotcha. You were searching Beauty and the Beast. If you typed in Dole Whip Dad, I'm going to do it right now. If you type in on YouTube Dole Whip Dad Beauty and the Beast, I'm hoping it comes up, but I'm going to find out live right now.
So anything to look for that you do, you should put that in, I guess. Dole Whip Dad.
Dole Whip Dad is the name of my channel. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I'm saying that to you. I might be lying here. Let's type in Dole Whip Dad. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm typing in Dole Dad. Well, but that doesn't help because it's on my channel. So everybody knows that's what I like. So I'm hoping if you type in Dole Whip Dad, I pop up.
Yeah, let's hope so.
I don't really. I hope so.
I got a quick question for you. We're on the subject talking about your wife. Did she like my suggestion a few weeks ago for her name for her own channel, Citrus Swirl Mom?
It's so funny you say that. Yes. The answer is yes. You were one of many with a suggestion. Disney Grandma, who is somebody who comes into my streams and really, really fun and always puts a smile on my face. So we're grandparents now. I don't feel like a grandparent, but we're grandparents now. So we've got we got two more. And so I'm Dole Whip Dad and her Instagram is Mrs. Dole Whip Dad. And so we've been going with a lot of those kinds of things. But yeah, we're either going to go around Dole Whip, so Citrus Swirl is perfect, or the dad aspect. And I was saying to her just the other day, maybe we should just go off the reservation something totally crazy. But I think she probably has 8,000 options. And I think I'll probably be a great grandparent by the time she comes up with one.
We're on the subject here. Your name, Dole Whip, and then we just talked about the Citrus Swirl. That's kind of my vice when I go to the Magic Kingdom. We did this on a show a few weeks ago. I kind of coined the phrase. I don't know. There might be a phrase for it out there. Somebody already has already, but I'm calling it the Magic of the Mouse Ice Cream Trail in the Magic Kingdom.
I love it.
Yeah, I got to start at the Citrus Swirl stand as soon as you get into Adventureland. And what is it? From there to the Dole Whip stand, maybe 100 yards, if that. And by the time I get there, I go to the Tiki Room and see the show and come out. There you are at the Dole Whip stand. So that tied you over for a little bit. And then you walk around the back of the park, do some of the rides, and come over into Tomorrowland and go to, Anti-Gravities or whatever over there. Then you got to get a hot fudge sundae. Then you walk around a little bit. Then you walk around a little bit more, and then you come to the ice cream. What's it? Plaza Ice Cream across from the hot dog stand on Main Street.
Yeah.
And then I got to get either the Mickey's kitchen sink or the Minnie's kitchen sink, where you get the little plastic kitchen sink to take home.
Yeah.
And then I waddle my way down Main Street to the monorail and back to the hotel.
Sounds like the hike of happiness to me.
I'll tell you, I don't know if anybody's tried the turkey legs, but I usually get one of those every time I go.
That's Billy.
Good stuff.
We'll wake him up. You want to talk about that, Billy? You're the turkey leg guy.
Oh, the turkey leg? Yeah, it's been around since the 80s, since before I was even born. That's like a staple of the park now.
That's awesome.
What do you think, Bill? Do you think Jeff will be able to hang with me? I meet him in the park one time. We do the ice cream trail.
Ice cream, yeah. If you throw the turkey leg in there, I don't know. You guys might have to walk over to Epcot and Animal Kingdom.
Bill knows I can down some ice cream.
I think that sounds like a challenge, and I accept.
Okay, well I might have to pop down in February then. You might give me an excuse to come back for 2 weeks.
You got a place to stay.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Now I got a place to stay. I got free room and board.
And if that free room and board turns into DVC, I know we'll end up at the watching some fireworks at some point.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Jeff, I know you're kind of a little pressed for time here this week, and I want to just get into a couple more questions and a few more things, and we'll go from there. One question I had, you talked a little bit about it last week, YouTubers that you have become friends with, but which one has helped you the most?
Oh, wow. Which one has helped in the Disney community, or which?
Yeah, in the Disney community, all the other creators you've talked to, you've said you've become friends with a few of them personally.
Yeah.
And as far as like giving you info and helping you out, which one do you think's helped you out the most so far?
Wow, there's so many. I'm not good at making questions quickly, answer them quickly. I feel like that's like three different things. So I've made such good friends, and there are so many good friends. But when you asked who has helped me the most, and obviously you're talking about the YouTube journey.
Yes.
Let me think about that.
I can't believe it. I've stumped Dole Whip Dad.
Well, there's so many. So Creator Talk show, Lynn is my co-host, and just because we have that show, I'm purposefully trying to learn things not only for me, but then that I could share with other people too. So in some aspects, it would have to be Lynn, even though that's very new, that aspect of it. But boy, there's everybody. I mean, so I don't do a lot of live streaming mobile, okay? But I do when I'm at the park. Last time I was at the park, my wife was like, how come you're not live streaming? I'm like, because I'm hanging out with you guys. So I'll do more of that. So in that aspect, clearly, without knowing he was doing it, Josh from Resort TV 1, but I don't do a lot of that. As it relates to learning YouTube things, I think it's probably Dave from Brandy and Dave. Dave is a great guy. He's been on my Creator Talk show a couple times. He does a podcast, his influencers. He's got a YouTube channel. He knows his stuff. I really value his insight. Just answering this out loud that way, I feel like I'm going to leave everybody out. He's the first person that pops in my head. Like, we've talked about strategy and, well, a little bit of goal setting and podcasting and, how to deal with videoing things in the park, but it's really, this sounds like a cop-out, but it's kind of a conglomeration, big word, of everybody. I mean, I like to pick and choose what I like, and very bluntly, the real answer isn't Disney YouTubers. It's the Peter McKinnons, the Casey Neistats, the Nick Nimmons. We mentioned them in our last episode here. People that aren't doing Disney things are probably who I learn from most about YouTube. Boy, I don't even know if I'm answering your question. I know my audio guy, though. He doesn't know it yet, but it's you. So I'm going to have to learn from you on audio.
Oh, you're going to be lost then. We'll be swimming in the ocean together. Since you just brought that up, your podcast, talked about it a little bit before. Your podcast is Breaking Bait. I noticed on there, I've listened to one or two, and it looks like you started out and kind of got into the YouTube, because I know last year you were doing a video a day, a vlog a day that you were doing. It kind of looks like you got away from the podcast, and it looks now you're starting to get back into that now and going to have a weekly thing you're going to put up.
I think that I did, and I wouldn't swear to this. I could pull it up, I suppose, and look, but I think I did 2 episodes last year. It might have been 3, I don't know, just to see if I liked it. I'm a big believer in jumping off the cliff and figuring out how to build the parachute on the way down. I just think that's the right way to go. And so I thought, well, I'll do a couple and see if I hate it. If I hate it, I'll never do it again. But I knew I would like it, and I did, and I do. And I think the first 2 episodes, I don't want to lie, I shouldn't have looked, but I think they were just both interviews, and I kind of do that on Distube, and so I don't like with the trivia thing. I loved it, but I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do an interview show necessarily on my podcast, because I already do that somewhere else. Now, that said, I'm going to bring on Disney creators, and so it's going to turn into an interview style. But honestly, the podcast, I've decided, is going to be where I put everything else. I'm going to talk Disney because people who like to listen to what I'm talking about are probably going to expect it, and it's a good place to put other things, and it's different. But I'm going to talk sports. I'm going to talk, Breaking Bait is the name because Breaking Bad is the best TV show ever. So I'll be talking about Better Call Saul here shortly. Disney Plus things that I like to watch, pop, just stuff that doesn't seem to fit in my mind on the channel, the YouTube channel. That's the kind of stuff I'm going to go there. And when I decided that I didn't hate it, I knew that in 2020 I would try to do. I don't have a goal like I did for the videos. I haven't decided I'm going to do 1 a week or 10 a week. I don't have any plan. If something excites me and I want to talk about it, I'm going to pull out my device and start talking to myself.
You have the perfect thing already, because with your Creator Talk and the Distube, I mean, all you need to do is take the audio off of those videos and maybe process them a little bit, and then you can put them out as a podcast show. I mean, you got the perfect thing there with your interviews and all already.
I've been planning, so that was another thing that I decided last year that I would repurpose. So the Distube interviews are kind of, I think, perfect for a podcast. I mean, people even call it a podcast sometimes, and it is. It's just not on a podcast platform. So there was a lot of really neat things that came of, and I'm proud of accomplishing last year's goal, which was to do an edited video every day for the year of 2019. That said, I'm so glad it's over, because I didn't have time. Like, you wake up and you know you're going to create something, and I think there's a lot of positive that came from that, but I knew I couldn't learn, audio, I need you. I couldn't learn Premiere Pro. I couldn't learn, there's all these skills that I want and need, frankly, now to learn. And one of them was how to I didn't even know how to download my YouTube videos until fairly recently. It wasn't like it was hard. It was that I didn't have time to go learn it. And so you download that, and then you peel the audio off, and then you upload it, and then you got a podcast. That small little step, which is not hard, I didn't have time to learn because I set a goal for something else. So I'm excited for those possibilities. I think that 3 or 4 of the things that I do can be repurposed easily as a podcast. Now they're going to hear me say things like, "Hey, everybody in chat, hey, thanks for the super chat," those kinds of things. But I think if I prep the audience and I tell them that's what this is, and if you want to see it live, you can go there. I mean, I don't know.
That would work out good. You just, do a little voiceover in the beginning, describing a little bit. This is, excerpt from my Dole Whip Dad channel on our show on Sunday nights, and get something people to listen to on their way to work.
Yeah, exactly. There's people who listen to podcasts in the car. I listen to mine in my garage, and it's just a different way to receive the content, right? So I think it fits well, and I'm going to have fun with it, and if at this time next year I didn't like it, well, I'll stop.
All right, Jeff, I got one more question for you, and then I'll open it up to Tom, Kurt, and Bill if they have any other questions for you. My last question for you, what's your goal with the channel? Where do you want to see it go?
So my subscriber goal is 100,000. I want a YouTube play button. I like winning, and YouTube decided I'm a scoreboard kind of guy, and they determined that's scoreboard, so I want a YouTube play button. So 100,000. I actually posted on my Instagram today that I hit a round number, and so I'm at 3.6% of that goal. Long way to go, but eat the elephant one bite at a time. My real goal is to have fun, very bluntly, and I've already achieved that goal, so I'm going to need more goals. So, and you know what? We talked about it last time, and we talked a little bit off the show. The goal has also been achieved here, but there's so much more to it. Meeting new friends. Like, I didn't start the YouTube journey because I was lonely. I don't need more friends, but I have some of my best friends in the world I didn't know 3 years ago and 2 years ago, and indeed even 1 year ago, but they're from this YouTube and this podcasting Disney community. Come on. I bet we're going to hang out in the Disney park at some point. If not soon, sometime. We didn't even know each other's name. I don't know how many months ago. So I think it's kind of magical. And again, I'm not some lonely guy who needs friends. I'm far from it. But it's kind of awesome. So the financial goal is to break even. We're a long way from that.
I was happy this week. I know I sent you a message. I'm a lot further away from that play button than you are. I just got my 60th or 61st subscriber, but I just started the channel in August and on YouTube, and I've only put like 20 videos up, and some of them aren't too good.
See, let me say this, and you can delete it out of the show if you don't like it, or you can leave it in there. I love hearing that. So it is a snowball. It is a snowball going down this massive hill that you can't possibly imagine getting to the bottom to in this silly analogy. But here's the good news. That snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you just keep creating, you're going to get better. You're going to have more fun. You're going to build a community. And all of a sudden, you're going to have a day where you had 60 subscribers added that day. And you'll remember this day saying, oh, man, I was so happy to hit 60. You should celebrate every single one of those milestones. Somebody decided to click a button to make them see your content more than before. That's pretty freaking awesome. And you'll get there. I'll get there. Unless a great meteor decides to take me out, I will get there. I don't know when, but it's really fun. And I'm a goal guy. I love it. So anyway, the numbers, 100K. The reality, have fun and make friends. And, I've already hit those two. And they're the more important two. And there's more to come on that. But I don't know. I love goals.
I was happy. I think I sent you a text, or we were texting about it the other day when we were talking about you coming onto the podcast, that this weekend we got our first Patreon to the show. now's a good time as ever to give them a shout out to our first Patreons to the show, Bob and Helen Freelander. We appreciate them liking what we do and want to be a part of it. My biggest thing is, I'm not in this to make money. I'm retired and I have a pension, and I'm not in this to make money. I'm looking for equipment. Everything we get is going to go back in to do what we do, whether it's from selling t-shirts for the show or a Patreon. I might be able to get a better lens to do better videos when I go down to the park, so it's going to make the videos that much better. So that's really my goals for the thing, but I was just happy with that. We got our first Patreon.
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, what an honor to, right? Like when somebody sends in a super chat or somebody becomes a sponsor or somebody subscribe, they're giving you something to say, hey, thanks for what you did. Please don't stop, right? That's kind of what they're saying. And I think that's what they're saying. It's pretty amazing. I love it. And Patreon, I love the idea. Patreon, I need to set mine up. It's basically set up. I just haven't hit the publish button or whatever, but I just love the idea of, you don't have to watch the commercial. You go directly to the artist that you like, whether they're making a sculpture or creating a podcast or whatever. It's kind of awesome. I love it.
All right, I guess I'll go with Bill first. Bill, you got any other questions you want to ask Jeff since you're a fellow Texans?
Yeah, I got one. So what's the most fun you've had doing all of your different shows?
Every time it's fun. Every time it's different. Every time something happens that I don't expect. We had we had somebody just the other night in Creator Talk who had never been in one of my shows before, and she said, thank you. We made her tear up. We were talking about our kids. I wouldn't say it was my favorite thing, but it's an amazing thing. I think to look for something singular, it's pretty cool when you're watching somebody and you help them hit a goal. Like you were just asking me my goals. Kelly, my buddy from Myers and the Mouse and the Disney That crew, they both hit large milestone subscriber counts, both at 1,000. And it wasn't on my stream. It was on the Resort TV 1 stream. And that was the other day. But watching that with them and getting to see them live hit a goal that they really wanted to achieve was really, really awesome. I don't know that anything stands out in my streams that was my favorite. It's a horrible answer, but I love it all. It's pretty cool.
One thing you just brought up there, Jeff, the person who was in the show, I forget the name, the screen name or the YouTube name, but I know exactly who you're talking about because when I typed on there the story why I started the channel, with me and my son, and he was away for, last few years in Iraq, and same thing, she subscribed to my channel just for that reason, because she liked the story of why I started the channel.
It is awesome. So Kelly, who I mentioned from Myers and the Mouse, he's an amazing guy, and you guys will get along if and when you guys meet. Okay, let me go to Bill's questions. I've got the answer now. Sorry it took this long to find it, but you just reminded me of it. Kelly from Myers and the Mouse and Josh from Practically Perfect Park Hopping were on our show, NFL Watch Party. So during this football season, I co-hosted a show. We just watched the NFL football together. I did it last year with my Cowboys. He liked it. That's one of the ways me and Kelly from Myers and the Mouse became buddies. He's a big Chiefs fan, so he's going to have more fun at the Super Bowl than I am, but whatever. And he was my guest, and Josh was my guest. And they hit it off because of their mutual being veterans. And they talked about things that I didn't know what they were talking about. They got these pins from these, I guess they were generals. Started off talking about Disney pins, and then those guys became what I probably think is going to be lifelong friends. And that happened on my stream. And lots of people who were in that stream watched it happen. They watched them become friends. And again, likely lifelong friends because they're common, being veterans and being amazingly awesome. And yeah, that's by far my favorite thing. I can't believe it took me that long to think of it.
All right, we're going to go over to Kurt here. Kurt has one last question for you.
Hey, Jeff, any future ideas and any future live shows or podcasts you think you might be doing in the future?
My goodness. So every now and then I hear like some of those shows that we've talked about, Nick Nimmin, Sean Cannell and all them, talking about, is it hard to come up with ideas? The answer is no. I got a million ideas. Way more ideas than I'll ever be able to do. The thing that I'm most likely going to do quickly, that is one of my ideas, is something I was going to do last year, but life got in the way. I'm a big baseball nut, as I think I mentioned earlier. And so in my life, I'm a Dodgers fan. I like all baseball, but I'm a Dodgers fan. I'm from Southern California, and I live in Texas. So the Dodgers start their home games at night at 7 o'clock there. That's 9 o'clock here, meaning they end at about midnight. Often I will end my day during baseball season with the Dodgers finishing up their game on my TV. Why not go live and do a baseball show is what I was thinking last year. Didn't happen for various reasons. My mind has kind of gone on this little fantasy insane asylum tour. What if I get a Padre fan in San Diego, an Indian fan in Cleveland, a Houston fan, oh, they don't have those anymore because they cheated, never mind, a Tampa Bay fan in Tampa Bay, and I don't have them all on every night, but I go on and I talk baseball and I watch the games and I talk about what's going on. Like right now, the Hall of Fame is going to be announced here. I've got some strong opinions that differ from the rest of the world, and just talk it out. And then if the Indians have something big, I bring on my buddy from Cleveland, and if the Red Sox have something big, I bring on my buddy from Boston. So I don't don't know if that's going to happen because honestly, commit to every night is rough. But I'm going to talk to myself about baseball in the shower. I might as well talk to somebody, right? It's a strong maybe that might start in March.
If it ever comes to that, I'd love to go on because I can talk baseball till you're deaf, dumb, and blind, and I'm a purist too. I'm not a big fan
Who's
of
your
the
team? You're from Jersey, you said, right?
Phillies.
Yeah, oh, that's right. You said that. Yeah,
Well,
that's perfect.
I'm going to name dropper you now. I don't know if I told you this in any of the streams before, but my son went to college on a scholarship for baseball. And
no, I didn't know that.
yeah, when he was younger, he played 3 years with him, and he played 3 years against him in high school. Was Mike Trout.
Oh, you did mention that. I forgot, but now I remember. Yes, that is so cool.
Ask Bill who the only person was in high school to turn a double play on Mike Trout.
I'm guessing he sounds a lot like you, but with a junior on the end of the name?
Yep.
That's so cool.
And we beat him by about 1/10 of a second.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so awesome. Well, I'm going to have more baseball talk. I have a million things I want to ask you now.
We're definitely so cool. Off Disney now, but one story there, I mean, I love baseball, so I'll talk baseball whenever. I don't care. With Mike Trout, Mike's senior year, he had every scout and their brother was following him that season, and they were playing on Bill's home field, and some of the scouts were on both sidelines taking video of him, stopwatches. Well, Mike's up to bat. My son played shortstop that year. He was a junior. They're the same age, but their birthdays kind of were wonky, and Mike was actually a year ahead. And sure. Mike hit a fly ball to the warning track in right field. And by the time the right fielder caught the ball, Mike was about 10 steps from third base. And he made an out, but that impressed the scouts that were next to me, and I could hear him talking.
Yeah.
That impressed them way more than anything else. That he knew it was a fly ball, and he was 99% sure he was going to be out, but he hustled, and he was 10 steps away from third base.
I love that so much. We're going to run out of time, but we're going to have to do episode 3 and talk baseball because I've got a million questions and stories I want to share.
All right, well, turn it over with one last question for Tom, and then we got one last thing, and we'll let you go. Go ahead, Tom.
Hey, you said you were down there this past October. You were just down in Disney. What days were you down there?
I don't know. We were there for the Halloween party. We went and did the Halloween party. Let's see. I was there for August for the Galaxy's Edge opening and a couple days in front and behind that. And then in October, we were there. I guess it was 4 days. I don't remember. I think it was. So my wedding anniversary is October 7th. That's generally when we take our vacation because, it's just wedding anniversary. But I think we went week 2 or week 3 of October. No, it was definitely during the Halloween party time.
Because me and my wife, we were down there the 31st till like the 4th of November. We've done like 3 or 4 of the runs down there that they do. We do the 5K and the 10K here and there. We're not the crazy runners, but what made me think about that was the pins, because every time when we purchase our packets and everything to pick up for the race, you can purchase a commemorative pin for each race. So I have like the 4 pins that I did. Matter of fact, the first race we ever did was the last one they did at Mount Everest.
I've only done one of the Run Disneys. I did a 5K. It was the first time I got to see Pandora, and It was, you running people are crazy. Apparently you wake up way earlier than I do. And so I got to run through Pandora with the lights on, and I'm not a runner anyway, but I just wanted the dang medal, right? And my daughter wanted to do it. Running through Pandora as the sun was coming up with the lights, that is something I'll never forget. It was spectacular.
Yeah, they're very organized with it. I mean, like I said, we've done it a couple of times, and it was one time where they actually had to hold off because the thunder lightning was so bad. That was like 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember somebody was doing a podcast, and they talked about how they couldn't run it, but then a bunch of people started running it that afternoon at the resorts. And yeah, I think I remember hearing about that. That wasn't when I was down there, but they just had the Dopey Challenge just recently. A bunch of our friends.
Yes.
Meg from Mickey's Magic and a bunch of the This and That guys, they were all down running the 10K and all of it. That's very cool.
Yeah, the 5K we did for the Star Wars run in October, they actually had somebody that passed away during the race.
I remember reading about that. Yeah, that's horrible.
Shame, but I appreciate it.
No, thank you.
All right, I guess we'll go on to one last thing here, Jeff, and we'll let you go. We got a little thing here. We're going to do a little rapid fire question with you. We got like 5 questions here we're going to throw at you.
Pressure's on. Are they true and false questions?
No, not true or false. All right, the first one. Your first Disney movie that you ever saw in the movie theater?
In the movie theater? Oh, I would have been little. So Gary Goldman was a family friend, and he became part of Don Bluth Productions. He was an animator for Disney, and we got to see some first-run stuff in his house. Probably the first Disney movie I ever saw was at his house when I was very, very young, too young to remember it because he was a family friend. In a theater, I'm betting it was Herbie. I don't know. I'm betting it was Herbie. I know Mom took me to Herbie, what was that, 76, 77? But I'm guesstimating. I'm going to have to call my mom and see if I lied to you right now.
You might have saw one of the, probably wasn't the original Herbie. I believe that came out, what time, around 69 or 70, 71?
Yeah.
You probably, what was it, Herbie?
Yeah, it would have been Herbie went.
Or the Monte Carlo one? Or
Bananas, one of them.
I remember being in a theater and they had, I thought it was Herbie. And I got to have my mom write my name and put it in the box because I was winning that Herbie, and I'm still a little annoyed that I never got my Herbie. So, I don't know. You asked me question number 2 and I'll look up what Herbie popped up when I was little, and we'll see if I can figure it out. Now I need to know.
All right, along with the Disney movie theme, what's your favorite Disney movie ever?
Oh, man. So many. The Lion King is the first movie I took my wife to. That was our first movie date. The Lion King. I'm going to go with the Lion King. But man, I like Robin Hood a lot. I like a lot of them. The Star Wars count. Yeah, I'm going to go with Lion King, but you could talk me out of it because I like so many.
All right, another one here. Your favorite Disney character?
Favorite Disney character? I got a million of those too. I mean, I'm a big Pluto guy. You know what? I'm going to go with the Hatbox Ghost. I'm looking at, you asked me the question, I'm looking around my room here, and I got quite a few Hatbox Ghost things looking at me. I'm going to go with Hatbox Ghost.
Now, this one here, I'm going to change the question. I had written down, what was your favorite ride in Walt Disney World? But since you grew up in Southern California, what's your favorite ride in Disney, period?
Indiana Jones ride. And it is in Disneyland, and it's the best ride. Now, that's hard for me because I've only ridden Flight of Passage once, and it's spectacular. I've got to fly the Millennium Falcon. Are you kidding me? That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a good one.
So it's hard for me to not pick that one, but it's Indiana Jones. You gave these to me at rapid fire, and I've made them all slow motion replay. But got to be at Indiana Jones a day or two before the thing opened. I was working at the Boys and Girls Clubs in San Marcos at the time. We took some kids on a field trip. We had no knowledge at all that it would be open. We knew it was about to open. And it was Media Day. Actually, that's not true. It was the day before Media Day. It was all set up, though. And they let us in. And so me and the staff and a bunch of kids got to ride Indiana Jones before it was open to the public. And it was spectacular, and it is the best ride. And if you've ridden Dinosaur in Walt Disney World, it's the same stuff, but awesome. Dinosaur, not as bad as People Mover, but pretty boring if you ask me. I know I'm going to make people mad at that, but I don't care. But Indiana Jones is spectacular. I love it. I love that ride.
I'm sure that made a pretty good memory for the kids you had with you that day.
Yeah. You know, and the queue, if people have ridden it now, the queue then was so different. It was more interactive and frankly scarier, and they had some effects that they had to stop because people were freaking out because they were so scary. I won't bore you with all the details, but it was amazing. But there's other traditional ones. I love the Jungle Cruise. I love Pirate. I love Haunted Mansion. But if I had to pick one, definitely Indiana Jones.
And stop this in the People Mover. That's the best 20-minute nap in all of Disney.
I love so many things about Disney. I don't know how people love that. Herbie rides again with 74. Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo with 77. I'm betting it was Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo. I don't really know. All right, there you go.
All right, and then the last question we have for you, your favorite restaurant in Disney.
Oh, my next one.
Good answer.
I also love Bengal Barbecue, which is right across the street from Indiana Jones, and I'm probably only thinking that because you have me thinking about Indiana Jones. But I love a lot of.
We've talked about a little bit in our last couple podcasts. We've done some, food, our favorite restaurants and all. I've been stepping out of my comfort zone the last few times down. I've been trying to go to places that I've never been, and I found some places that I've liked that I would never have thought I would have liked.
I mean, I say the next one to be funny, but I really mean it. I'm going to go to Via Napoli again. I'm going to go to Bengal Barbecue again. There are plenty of places that I love. I mean, what is it? Flame Tree Barbecue? Is that what they call that at Animal Kingdom? I love that. I love all of them. I'm going to eat there again, but really, I'd rather eat somewhere I haven't been. I've been in Nomad Lounge once in my life. The last time we were there, I hung out in Nomad Lounge. I'm going to want to go there a million times now because it's so fun, but I'd rather go somewhere I haven't been yet. And oh my gosh, there's so many places to eat at Disney, so love it.
Sounds good. All right, we'll let you get out of here. I know you've got other things you have to do this evening. We appreciate you coming on the show. And just to remind everybody, on Sunday nights at 9, you can watch Jeff, Dole Whip Dad, on his Distube live stream. And about a half hour after that ends at 10:30 Eastern Time, you can catch Creator Talk with his co-host Lynn from the Lynn Project. And don't forget his new show on Friday nights, Disney Pins Live, with his co-host Kelly from the Mickey Bunch. And on Saturday mornings, again, Jeff and his wife, Beauty and the Beast. We appreciate you coming on, Jeff.
No, it's been my honor. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks. Great to meet you guys. And we're going to have to do this again on my channel, talk a little baseball and a little Disney. And I'd love to have you on there too.
Before we let Jeff go, we want to announce a little something here. I like Jeff's Distube show on Sunday night so much that the Magic of the Mouse podcast is going to be an official sponsor of the Distube on Dole Whip Dad channel on Sunday nights.
I love hearing that. That's awesome. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, well, I really enjoy the channel. Hopefully it'll help you out and it'll help us out. That's the main goal of me doing this. And basically, I love the show, watching it on Sunday nights. And I'm really happy to be a sponsor of your show.
You're making my day. I love the show, and I love that people are reacting to it positively, and thanks for those kind words. I appreciate that so much.
I'll let you go, Jeff, and we appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, guys. I had fun. Let's do this again on my show soon.
Okay, that's about all we have this week. We thank you for joining us again. And if you'd like to stay in contact with us during the week, you can find us on our website. You can find us at magicofthemouse.net for all your current Disney news. And on Facebook, you can find us at Magic of the Mouse. And the same thing on Instagram, it's at Magic of the Mouse also. And on Twitter, if you just do a search for Magic of the Mouse. So again, we thank you for listening, and we hope you'll be back next week, talk a little more Disney. And until then, remember, it all started with a mouse.
Well, Musketeers, that's about it. Tomorrow, a big special show. See you there.